All right, we're joined by Maycee Barber, who picked up a win on
I'm
the
all
weekend. Maycee, how's it going?
going good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Like, obviously, it was a bit of a longer layoff than what I thought maybe after that last fight, or was this kind of that time frame you wanted from July until March?
Yeah, it was a little bit longer of a layoff than I wanted. Um, Came off of a little bit of a shoulder injury, so life had its other plans. So was happy to get back in there and have a good fight and a good win.
I was just saying, like, fighting back in front of fans. Like, how excited was that for you?
Oh, got it. Fighting back in front of the fans. I was so excited to fight in Texas because I know that like the fans in Texas, I mean, I fought there. That was my fourth fight in Texas. Um, the energy that they bring is it's just so much. Um, and honestly, like it wasn't even like it didn't even bother me, we were in her home state. Like I was just excited about being in Texas and having that kind of energy brought to the fight. So I was so happy to be there.
And then fighting Andrea Lee, like, did you expect her to implement wrestling, or were you expecting her just to strike with you?
Um, we thought that she was gonna stand and strike a little bit more and just try to, stay in the fire, but um at the same time, she wrestled me and I had to adapt. I had to adapt. She did catch me off guard, obviously, with the wrestling, but um, the fact that like it's one thing to wrestle, it's another thing to wrestle to like finish and to win, and not just like to hold someone down. So, a little bit of frustrating, but I was able to do something with her takedowns. So it is what it is, but we got the win.
And then when she was taking you down, like, she wasn't really doing much, like, you were the one kinda doing all the damage, so, like, is that why you were kinda so confident when it got to the scorecards then?
Oh, for sure. I've had I think I've had like two fights now, where I've had to just fight off my back, fight to cause damage from being on your back, sometimes unexpected circumstances, uh, and other opponents, they're good. So we just had to do what we had to do, and I knew that like I did all the damage. I caused a lot of the damage with the elbows and even being on the bottom. So I wasn't doubting myself for a second. Going to the decision. I knew that I did enough to win.
I know you always want to finish, but so, like, are you happy with that performance then, or is there a bit of disappointment that you didn't get the finish?
I mean, I would love the finish, but I am proud of the fact that I feel like I showed a lot more improvements and a lot more of like that old like aggressive style that I have and that I brought to a lot of my fights. So I am proud of the fact that I obviously with every fight I'm gonna have stuff to improve on it and to get better at, but um the best wins are the ones where you still learn a lot. So yeah, I have things I want to improve, but at the same time, I am proud of that performance. And I feel like I brought a lot of that like I want to finish mentality. But at the same time, she's tough, so it's not just going to be easy to get all these girls out of the cage.
How much better do you think you've gotten over the past, like, what, year or 2 since you went out to Team Alpha Male? Because there is a lot of, like, girls obviously around your size you can work with.
Significantly. I feel like I've become significantly better, not just because of the girls. I mean, it is great to have all the girls, but it's like the coaches, it's the entire team. Um, it truly is a place that I'm happy, and feel like I found a home. Um, there's always times for us to grow. Like I feel like I'm constantly learning and constantly evolving. I'm constantly being pushed, and then at the same time, just a positive environment where it's not about a lot of the negativity. Even when fighters lose, there's always like how can we take a lesson from this and how can we get better. um so it's also just it's a very uplifting and positive grind mentality, which I think you know for me and for a lot of fighters, like the mental part of a fight is so much more than people really realize, because you're going to always find other people who are tough. Once you're in the UFC and even, the top 10, top 5, everybody's good. So it's a lot of it is going to be the mental side, and they were actually just talking about it in practice today, is like, um it's not just about, showing up. It's the effort that you put in. It's showing up before everybody else. It's knowing that when you walk the day that you walk into the cage, it's knowing that I did everything possible to win this fight, and to prepare. And you don't want to go into the fight with doubts, and they really truly live that mentality of, how can we do everything possible to make sure that on fight day we walk in with an unbreakable mindset. And that's so important, and that's an environment that I love.
And then after the fight, like, were you surprised? Because I saw a lot of people thought Andrea won. Like, were you surprised that a lot of people did think she won that fight?
um I mean, a lot of uneducated people are going to think that, everybody that I talk to, or all the people that I've seen and heard, that are actual, like, MMA, like, knowledgeable in MMA, they know the difference. They know what's more important, takedowns or damage. Damage is more important. Um, there's gonna be a lot of uneducated fight fans, or a lot of uneducated people that are gonna, be haters, and people love to hate. So
Mhm.
if someone's having success and someone's having, they're riding a wave, everybody wants to make you crash. So um, when you're up high, everybody wants to see you fall. So, like, it's sad, but I mean that's the way the world is. So my bank account tells me that I won, and that's all that matters.
Do you think like you get more hate than most people because of like the way you went to the UFC, like saying to be the youngest UFC champion? Obviously, like Dana and the UFC like giving you this big push. Like, do you think that's part of the reason why people like think you lose, or like always kind of think like you didn't do as good as you did?
I think it's all a little bit of everything. I think that there's people that want what I have and aren't willing to put in the work that I put in. I think that there's people that are gonna say, I was given a lot of things, but at the same time, like, I'm successful, and I work for everything that I've earned. I'm not afraid to tell people what I want, and a lot of times people appreciate that, and I'm given a lot of the opportunities they ask for because I'm willing to ask for them. And not only am I willing to ask for them, but I'm willing to put in the work. If you tell me, hey, this is going to take this much work, I'm going to do it, because I want that. And I think that there's always going to be a lot of hate because, um, people want what you have, and they're not willing to do what you're willing to do. When it comes to everybody else, like the people that don't fight and the people that don't even understand, like, they're just people that don't even understand, and they never will. And if they have to talk bad and give hate and say that I'm just giving everything, let them think that, like, that's fine, but the people that know me know that how hard I work, and know where my heart is, and know what I'm going for. um and that's really all that matters. I don't read comments because I have I have several training partners and friends that are like, "Man, your comments are wild." Like, people hate on me so much, and it's fine because, like, I'm not gonna read them. If you give me love on my social media, I'll probably reply. But if you're gonna give me hate, I'm just gonna ignore you, because you know what? You're not worth my breath.
Uh, doesn't look like you took much damage. Like, what is kind of that time frame for you to return then?
Um, I have a couple of, like, little things that I'm gonna have looked at, but I mean, as long as everything checks out, as far as scans go, um, I would love a quick turnaround. It's just a matter of, I'm trying not to, like, say, "Hey, I want to fight this day," because ideally I would love to, but I don't want to just, like, start that process and then be like, I can't fight then. So, if everything checks out and is good, I would love to have a 5 week, 6 week, 7 week turnaround, and fight really fast, because I did have a layoff, between my fight with Jessica and, Andrea. And I would love, if I'm healthy, I want to fight. I want to be that consistent fighter, and why not? Because I'm in the gym anyways. I'm always getting better, so I might as well be, putting on a performance, and doing it in front of the fans and for a crowd.
Just two more things, so I know you got to get out here. Is obviously ranked top 10 now. So like, who like do you really care who's next, or is it just like kind of anyone as long as it's in front of you?
Um, I don't know as if I care. I mean, obviously there's been, the fight that I've been wanting back, and I want to make sure that everything that I'm doing is pushing towards that. Um, you know, I want to get that rematch someday. You know, hopefully it's the next fight, the fight after, but that's what I would love. Um, but at the same time, like she's the top.
Mhm.
Alexa's at the top. She's gonna have a rematch with Valentina. So, um, I think for me, like just figuring out the right path to getting to that, but also, you know, a consistent fight. So we'll see who's available. I know that it's not just, you know, it's not just up to us. It's like who's available, you know, who isn't booked, who isn't injured, who's ready. So we'll find out and we'll make a plan and move forward from there.
Just final thing is like, were you surprised to see Alexa beat Valentina and then like kind of building all that? Like, do you think she could beat her again in the rematch?
I was not surprised, and I would not be surprised if she won again. But at the same time, I would not be surprised if Valentina won that fight either. You know, I think they're both phenomenal fighters. I think that um, Alexa is very underrated and is someone that you shouldn't just overlook. And I think that Valentina is definitely at that point where like I don't think she overlooked her. But you know, she's been dominant for so long, and I think that it's starting to us girls are going to start to catch up and expose the holes. And I think that Alexa was the first to do it, and I think that that's amazing. You know, I think it was great for the division and the fact that you know it shook up the division quite a bit. So I think all in all, it's great, and I think that if when we see the rematch, I think it could go either way.
Just quick thing, you get Corey the roller skates yet?
I did. I ordered them, but she doesn't know it yet. Oh, they'll be here. I think they'll be here in like a couple of days. So, yeah.
Well, Maycee, I appreciate the time as always. Thank you so much for being there.
Of course. Thank you so much.